So what we just did, the breaking of bread and the participating of the cup, reminded me of a revelation that I got quite a few years ago of the importance of the idea that the blood is the only way. Of course it is. We know it is. And we don't even hardly think about it. But if someone ventures out to think that okay, the cross is over here, and here is God, and I'm going to please God in this way so I can come to Him. You know, and certain religious practices and certain religious group might have flavors of that. And that is grievous. Why is that so grievous? Because if there would have been another way, Jesus would not have needed to do that. Why would Jesus Christ take the cup in the garden, sweat drops of blood, and just struggle in His inner man and just wrestle with things, and then commit Himself to doing it, following through what God said, being beaten, being mocked, being spit upon, being His beard plucked out, if there would be another way? If anyone dares to think that there is another way, I don't know how you can grieve God more than that. Feet washing. So when we think about feet washing, you know, I really don't know what the different varieties of churches around the world, where they come out on feet washing. I don't know. I know what's common in Lancaster County and Anabaptist people, and so it would be nice to know. But feet washing has a maybe some people aren't really impressed by feet washing. Maybe it's like so far away from 2,000 years ago when people were actually, it was something they looked forward to, somebody to wash your feet. Now it might have the flavor, do we do feet washing today? I mean, I guess we could, but do we want to do that? I hope my feet don't smell. You have clean socks on, you know. What goes through our mind when we think about feet washing? I'm going to venture out and say this, that feet washing was something in the natural that Jesus highlighted. The first account of feet washing in the Bible that I'm aware of is in Genesis. Genesis 18:4. That's the account of, if I'm not mistaken, that's where the Lord came unto Abraham and under the tree, and Abraham said, please let a little water be brought and wash your feet and rest yourselves under the tree. Abraham washed the Lord's feet. Let's go there and make sure that we're seeing that correctly. The Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he, Abraham, sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. That's Genesis 18, verse 1. He lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. When he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground and said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. How close are those the words of Jesus in the New Testament, or his attitude and his love that he had for the Lord? It reminds me so much of Luke 7:44, where the Simon and some of the other men were kind of critical of that woman that was just sitting at the feet of Jesus. And Jesus said, he said to Simon in 7 verse 44, he said, Simon, do you see this woman? I entered your house. You gave me no water for my feet, but she has wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her head, with her hair. And so this is all feet washing accounts in the Bible before the Last Supper, when Jesus really highlighted feet washing. Feet washing was apparently something that was done throughout the Old Testament. 1 Samuel 25 verse 41, there's an account about feet washing. I believe it had a very, there's one meaning that it had throughout Scripture, and that was, it was always in the flavor of serving and making someone feel at home. That was the whole idea of feet washing. And you look at some stuff in the Old Testament. When Jesus came in the Gospels in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, every once in a while he would highlight something. This is something he highlighted. Like some of the stuff did not get highlighted. For example, the circumcision of your flesh. Jesus didn't highlight that. But feet washing, he highlighted. So let's go to the accounts where Jesus... Oh, another thing about feet washing is there... I'm not aware of any instructions of when or where you can wash feet. Communion, we get some instructions, you should be worthy of participating in the Lord's Supper. You should check yourself. You should make sure there's instructions to take communion, to the bread and the wine. Feet washing, I'm not aware of any. And when that first caught my attention, when I read the Brother Un from China, one of his books, it was either The Heavenly Man or it was, the other one is Living Water, yeah. Where he shared a testimony where they would be bringing the gospel and they were sending missionaries out in China. Chinese people were being Chinese missionaries. And they would go to the other parts of the country where there was no church, and they would witness and share. And this one man, I don't know if it was Yun or not, or a brother of his, they would, every morning, the people came out of the village down this trail into where their fields were, where they would work in the fields. And they would usually share Jesus with them when they met at that certain point. And the people would mock the Christians. And this was going on for a while, and they were praying to God, and they ended up bringing water out, buckets of water, and washing these laborers' feet on the way to the fields and the way back from the fields. And they did that, and after serving them in such a way, there was great revival in that little section, in that little village. So in the Gospels, I think we're going to turn to John 13. Verse 5 or verse 4, after supper, Jesus standeth up from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel, and girded himself. After he poured water into a basin, he began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded. Now, when he started doing that, these were Jewish men. This was not an unusual practice. The only thing unusual about it was that the servant wasn't doing it. If you look in the Old Testament accounts of feet washing and history of Jews, they would have a servant to wash the visitors' feet. That was common. That was quite common in their culture. It was, it kind of had the same flavor as when we were growing up Amish, and grandpas would come to our house and hey, go out. Dad would say, go out and put grandpa's horse away. So he doesn't have to go down to the stall and he can just make it easier for him. And it had that kind of flavor. And it was common for the servants to help serve the visitors. And feet washing was a common thing that the servants did. So here he began washing the disciples' feet. And the most unusual thing was that Jesus did the feet washing. And he was the leader, or he was the Lord, or he was the master. It was his supper. He gathered the supper. He was the master. He was the Lord. Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter said unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Jesus answered and said unto him, What I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter saith unto him, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, If I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Jesus said to him, He that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all. For he knew who should betray him, therefore saith he, Ye are not all clean. So after he had washed their feet, and taken his garments, he put his garments back on, and was sat down again, he said unto them, Know ye what I have done to you? Ye called me Master and Lord, and ye say, Well, for so I am. If I then, being Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash another's feet. For I have given you an example, that ye should do as I have done to you. So there it is, straightforward. Now, as we look at that, we can wash each other's feet twice a year and still not have the attitude of washing each other's feet. We can wash each other's feet and still miss the message if we don't get the message. I personally believe that we do well by actually doing that. The example of actually washing each other's feet, I believe we do well. And my heart is that we would actually have that spirit in us, that attitude that of washing each other's feet. I believe that washing of feet in the account here that I just read was very meaningful. It was something that was very much appreciated. If you allow yourself to think how it looked, how it felt, where they were living in, the culture, there's sometimes we were so far away from reality of what it was in our little minds. But try to go there, what it actually was. So here there was this city, Jerusalem. According to history, there was, I don't know how many square feet Jerusalem was, but sometimes there was 1 million people in Jerusalem. I just about cannot grasp that. I don't know how many people were there over a normal Passover. And so there was no running water. There was no flushing toilets. There was no automobiles. There was a lot of animals. There was no asphalt or concrete. There was no linoleum and tile. Now, they did have some sort of hard stones and some pavement, the rich areas, or, they were able to do cobblestone and stuff like that. But overall, it was dusty, it was dirty, there was animal poop, there was sewage somewhere. I don't know where the sewage all went to, but when you came after journeying through the hot sun, through the dusty city, through all this stuff, and you came to a house and you were not able to take a hot shower every morning and every evening like we are, you probably couldn't pull a drawer open and get a nice clean pair of cotton socks every time you wanted to go away. And so when you went to someone's house and someone offered to wash your feet, it was so beautiful. It was so wonderful. I think everyone appreciated it. That's the flavor that it had. And so we will use that example, but on the other hand, what is meaningful today? If you get visitors, in today's society, how can you wash your feet each other's feet in a way that is very meaningful to the next person? We will take the example of feet washing like Christ said, but in everyday life, how do you wash each other's feet? What is meaningful when you get visitors or when you reach out to your neighbors? That's all I have.